Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today, and oh baby did we have some beautiful bounces to start the morning. NIO, Tesla, PLTR, CGC, APHA in the MJ space, QQQ, and all the major tech names that go along with it. We'll check it all out in just a flash.
Introducing the Chart Guys Swing Report, a weekly digital publication that uses technical analysis to identify long-term market opportunities. Understand the market from a swing trade perspective. Follow institutional money as it rotates from sector to sector, and make the most of the Swing Report's weekly trade opportunities, with key entry and exit levels provided. Performance is tracked and updated weekly. For more information, visit us at chartguys.com. Now, let's check out some charts.
So full disclosure, unfortunately, I just talked for 18 minutes and didn't hit the record button. And right as I finished, I had the thought, that was a solid video, lots of good info, looked over, not recording. Brutal. That's only happened 100 times in the last 5 years. It stings every time. I'll do my best. It's not going to be the same, but we'll see how it goes. So, S&P 500 4-hour rising wedge. We were watching it yesterday, and we closed right at that level. I would not be surprised to see consolidation overnight tonight. We can break above this level. I'm watching to see where candlesticks close. And again, this is just the pattern that I am watching until it breaks. It's as simple as that. If it breaks, it could be a notable short-term shift in momentum. If it breaks bearish, that being said, it could absolutely break bullish. This is a bearish pattern, but in a really bull market, and I'm just thinking back to cryptocurrency the last 6 weeks, there were a lot of shorter-term 15-minute, hourly rising wedges that would break bullish. So, can break bullish, but something to be aware of. I'm not acting on this. I am not making any bearish entries or anything like that. It's just something I'm keeping an eye on. And if it does start to follow through with a bear break, then I'll act on it. But not going to act on the opposing direction of current strength as we're up at all-time highs. So we're keeping an eye on that. SPY. Today we had a drop of QQQ real hard and fast first thing, but the SPY bulls didn't really worry about that because the financial sector and healthcare sector held on fine all morning. We did break the low of yesterday on SPY, but you can see it's an all-time high close. And while we didn't quite get the all-time high, we got within $1. So the bulls are keeping their control. Our line in the sand level, 359.17 as our last daily high or low, easily holding that still, and the bulls still have full control. IWM, building a base of support. Bulls would love for this to be our high or low, but we're still tight. We need a clear hourly trend change back to the bulls. We have a pattern right now where it doesn't really look like it, but the last 3 days, these are all barely little lower highs each day. That pattern has to break for the shift to be on to head back to that all-time high resistance at 185.44. We have the daily 12-period EMA as a great visual guide. That's the case on a bunch of sectors we're about to look at. And it's a very simple if-then statement. If daily EMA 12 is support, then the bulls have complete control on the daily time frame. And that's where we stand for IWM right now. QQQ, so there's your dump first thing. 5-minute RSI got down into the teens, and then in classic QQQ fashion, V-shape 1.3% in a couple hours, and just no looking back from there. The bulls had complete control from that point forward. We then lost the 5-minute uptrend, so we know zoom out, look for an hourly higher low. And there was a little 1-minute falling wedge, which marked the complete shift in momentum from hourly consolidation back to the bulls. So I wasn't even watching this falling wedge, but I could see on the 5-minute time frame, things were starting to level out. And right here, I posted, keep an eye on QQQ for a short-term momentum shift to set that hourly high or low. And it was just perfectly timed for that bull break, hourly high or low set. And the bulls make their way back to the high of the day, into the close. Didn't get a break, but closed strong overall. So QQQ, no new all-time high, but again, all-time high close. So we're still right there. And anything above 294.78 is a daily higher low. Financial sector, it's a little channel I'm watching. Daily higher low is set here. Getting follow through. That level now, line in the sand, 27.83. And if the bulls can break 28.69, the next resistance level is up in the 29s. So bulls have space to work with. If then statement, EMA 12 support. given away yesterday. Profit taking yesterday on the gap up and bull move first thing. Closed near the low of the day, but an inside bar today. And again, the healthcare sector definitely helped the broader market bulls keep calm while the tech sector dumped the first 15 minutes of trading. Plenty of space for a daily higher low to form compared to 107.84 once this move tops out. And that's what we'll look for when the bears take over next. Biotech sector. Looking for a daily higher low. We need an hourly trend change back to the bulls for that to be set, but it's very healthy consolidation. It could be a bull flag. And again, if then statement, EMA 12. If that is holding, the bulls have complete control. And we're going to have to see the market lose those EMA 12 supports in all of these sectors at the same time if we're going to have one of those quick, hard, fast bear moves that wakes everybody up, just like a splash of cold water in the face after everybody gets complacent, which is usually how it takes place in this market environment, but no sign of it yet. Semiconductors, no all-time high today. It's an inside bar, pretty much a double top at the all-time high. If the low of today breaks tomorrow, it's an inside bar bear break at 211.40, and we look for the higher low, and we've got our if-then statement with the EMA 12 as our guide. Solar sector, EMA 12. Looking for the daily higher low. We're setting up an hourly trend change, and it's up to the bulls to follow through tomorrow. Low of the day, high of the day, hourly consolidation into the close. Tomorrow, bulls have to hold 79.67 and break the high of today to confirm the hourly trend change, and we then zoom out, and we could definitely form a daily lower high from there because this was a 10% pullback. So we'll be cautious of that. But first things first, bulls have to change that hourly trend in their favor to get that daily bounce going. The VIX, this 4-hour downtrending support line, look at the low of today right off of it. So still in play, but not doing much as far as going up. So what we're watching for is, essentially, it would align if we were to see that S&P 500 futures rising wedge break bearish, then this falling wedge-like pattern would break bullish. So that's something we're watching for. And what would need to take place for that to happen? The dollar needs a daily oversold bounce. The bears are in complete control. The daily RSI is 27, and we look historically and say, well, just a few months ago, that RSI got to 17. We could see another couple red days, absolutely possible, but we also know that a short-term bounce is incoming. So could all these things align? Bears are hoping. Dollar oversold bounce, S&P 500 futures, 4-hour rising wedge bear break, volatility sector, 4-hour falling wedge bull break. Something to be aware of over the next few days. Gold and silver are still loving that dollar weakness. Bounce continues. Again, still just looking for a daily lower high. And if those three scenarios that I just talked about played out and the dollar gets a daily oversold bounce, we will look for that to mark the metals lower highs. And then we watch for a daily higher low on the metals in response to that. 4-hour uptrend is our guide. Anything above 1807 keeps the 4-hour uptrend in control for gold. Silver is the same thing. Still looking for that lower high. Lots of space for the daily higher low once we top out. 4-hour uptrend is our guide. 23.55 is our last 4-hour higher low. Miners also continuing their bounce. Again, getting a little tired. So 36.36 was resistance. We haven't broken that yet. I don't really care much about that resistance. What I care about is, can the bulls confirm a daily trend change? And when the metals lose their 4-hour higher lows, the miners will be looking at their daily consolidation. Oil, bullish reaction to the inventory report. Very healthy consolidation. It's fairly similar to this last period of consolidation, holding the EMA 12 into continuation. Bulls trying to do the same thing again, but we do need a 4-hour trend change. This is a bull reaction to the inventory report, and we need a higher low and higher high to be looking to confirm that daily bull flag. Energy sector, XLE, looking to set its daily higher low as well, building a base of support right on the EMA 12. That is our short-term guide. I cannot stress what a game changer EMA 12 has been for me over the last 3 years, first in cryptocurrency, then in stocks. I cannot stress how big of a game changer Backburner trades have been for me. Google Chart Guys Backburner for a video explaining that. It is such a high probability trade. And we'll talk about that as we look at these bouncers in just a moment. So energy sector, daily higher low trying to be set. Resistance up at 40.42. Natural gas bear break. So this is definitely a little bit of a red flag for the bulls. That being said, I look at this 2-day time frame to condense it down a little bit. And it's a bit of an inverse head and shoulders where it's a clear downtrend. Now it's up to the bulls to shift this momentum for a convincing weekly higher low and follow through to take place. So if you are already in a position, you don't want to see this at all. To confirm the daily bull flag and see no follow through and then break support, absolutely a red flag. If you're in cash and wanting a bullish position, you're liking this and you're saying, okay, get closer to the level that I want to use as a stop. Means there's less risk, which means the risk to reward ratio is more favorable for me. And if we get to 4-hour oversold, which is approaching, potentially some bulls that have been on the sidelines will look to scale in playing off that level and then hoping that that inverse head and shoulders like pattern plays out to set that weekly higher low convincingly. So the bounces today, we had QQQ leading the way in the sense that we know in the EV space, electric vehicles, NIO, Tesla, that QQQ matters. And it dumped in the first 15 minutes and it threw a little bit of a curveball because if you look at Tesla started its bounce right on its gap down open. And we had a 2% bounce instantly in seconds. And then it just completely turned around and dropped 4% right behind it. And that was because of QQQ. And then once QQQ got that massive V-shaped bounce going, like it does so often, that really put some juice behind some of these bounces. So I was live streaming, and I am a better trader when I'm not live streaming. It's just a plain fact because I'm not talking, and it's muscle memory, and I'm in the flow, and I'm in the zone fully concentrated. And when I'm talking and looking at other stuff and all that, it's just a little bit lesser in terms of my abilities. That being said, today, I knew it was a significant opportunity, so I used more capital than normal, and I was in more trades. I prefer to be in one trade at a time. I'll do 2 at a time in scenarios like today. If I start going 3 and beyond, it's way too much for me to keep track of. I have no interest in being in that many trades. So I chose PLTR and Tesla, and obviously in hindsight, NIO was the way to go, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Certainly not feeling any FOMO with my decisions. The MJ space had some beautiful bounces as well, but again, backburner trades. First, hourly oversold conditions coming off all-time highs, ideally, or coming off of a significant bull move, very high probability trade. I'm not saying just go start trading this way. I am saying make note of what I'm telling you, observe it, paper trade it, add it to your tool belt, because when you're in a market environment where there's a lot of blue sky breakouts, and we are in that market environment in 2020, this is a very high probability trade. In 2017, when crypto was running wild, I learned this style, and it was a moneymaker. Just buy first oversold. Once we start pulling back, you win. And then I applied it to stocks, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see that the probability rate of it being successful was still very, very high. So on a name like Tesla, coming off of all-time highs, just looking for a daily higher low, EMA 12 support on the daily. 1 hour, oversold conditions, straight into a 5% bounce. And you will see this happen all over the place. In the end, hourly higher low tried to confirm the trend change into the end of the day. We have to see the bulls break the high of today tomorrow to confirm that hourly trend change, to set the daily higher low, and to set our sights back on that all-time high. So my play first thing this morning, I didn't get faked out in that first candle. I was focused on PLTR first thing, and then as soon as I saw Tesla take this leg down, I got interested. I saw these 2 little candles, set a base at 541. I made an entry, got filled at about 546, sold half of it, anticipating a 2-minute lower high, probably around 552 or so. Break even at that point is 540, so very, very comfortable. That's why I sell half so quickly. It's the difference between me being in a sizable position and then sitting here and stressing and saying, Uh-oh, okay, we set the lower high. Are we going to drop to a lower low? Am I about to be in a red position and then I'm going to have to manage this red position? Where's my stop loss going to go? Am I going to add more? All that goes out the window. As soon as I exit half my position, my break even drops 1.5% to 540. And if we break the low of the day, the 5-minute RSI will still be crushed. And that half that I just sold, I can very comfortably reload it. It's the difference between being at the mercy of the trade and being in control of the trade. And that is why I sell half so quickly, because it instantly hands me the keys to that trade. And yes, oftentimes I'm leaving money on the table to get those keys, but it's worth it to me to alleviate that out of control feeling and that feeling of hope. I hope we bounce, as opposed to, I don't care if we bounce. If we see another leg down, great. I'll add it back and things will be good. And again, that's knowing how extreme RSI levels are. I'm not just doing that on any trade. So then I exited the half again. No, what did I do? So I exited half. Then I re-entered too early. I almost had a real good play, but re-entered too early. I rebought at 551 here, anticipating the potential of a 2-minute bull flag and wanting a more sizable position. So I re-entered $1 cheaper, but in hindsight, I could have re-entered, $6 cheaper than where I sold it. But got the bounce follow through. 2-minute equilibrium broke bullish, and then I sold half, rode half most of the morning, and then exited once I could see that hourly consolidation was likely going to take place. PLTR trade, I entered half of it. Pre-market at 22.40, just to build an initial position, knowing it was going to be a very active morning. And from there, I had 2 more positions I would have entered. One of them, 22.40 I entered. 21.40 is where my second fill was after the bell rang, and I would have entered at 20.40 if we kept dumping. We did see a very fast 10% bounce, but that was it. That bounce was done in 12 minutes. Fast and hard, as opposed to NIO, which we were about to look at, which was sustained and massive. And this was the red flag right here. New high of the day by 8 pennies and no follow through. Sold half of my position as soon as I saw that happen. And then we double topped again. And then bulls just lost all their mojo. CNBC helped later in the day. I still have a small swing position on. So here's the hourly trend change attempt shaping up. And my swing trade is tiny in the sense that 10% movement in either direction would give me a day maker or a day loser. But I'm keeping that tiny position. And if we keep waterfalling on the daily, if we keep dropping lower, I will add to that position looking for the daily high or low. But at this point, it's small enough that it was kind of just like whatever, I'll hold it. Which normally is not the way I trade, but again, very small, doesn't really matter. Aside from that, NIO was the winner. Huge volume, huge buying of the dip. There is, after an after-hours vote, that we're going to see significant volatility on here between perhaps 6 and 8 p.m. Eastern. But look at this bounce of 25%. And once the bulls got going, you could just watch the buy bots on the bid completely offsetting any weakness that QQQ was seeing. QQQ would drop for 15 minutes. Anytime you would just see a little bit of leeway, a little bit of pullback, the bids would instantly just stack right back up and hold the price. And there were hidden bids where you'd see a round number and you'd drop back down to it and you'd hit it and you'd hit it and you'd hit it and it just wouldn't move. And it's not showing massive shares, but you know there's massive shares there holding the price up. It hits it 3 times and then it sees another leg up because bears get no follow through. And that makes bulls confidence to add more. And it tells bears, you better cover quick because we're not done going up. There is hidden bid support keeping things strong. And that's just observing. I'm not even looking at level 2 to see that. I'm just looking at the top bid in the ask and watching how the price and the volume reacts to hitting different numbers and whether they move or not. And if a number is just sitting there stagnant, then you know it's a hidden order if it keeps getting hit. So NIO had a great bounce. We'll see if it gets given back at all. Bulls are going to be watching for a 4-hour high or low if it does. MJ, CGC, significant bull move on the daily time frame. We just went from 23 to 29, so 25% plus move. Pullback. We're looking for a daily high or low. We're looking to hold the EMA 12 support, and the hourly RSI got oversold into the end of the day yesterday. This morning, first thing, we hold the low of yesterday. Aggressive bulls were playing off that level, and we saw a significant bounce. First, hourly oversold conditions coming off a significant bull move. That is the trade in blue sky breakout markets. And that's it. I'd give myself a 80% good job of replicating everything that I just said again. And I'll be more attentive to the record button next time. Do good things. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Yeah.